Then you say something very important somewhere in your statement, because you say even the arrest warrant should not have been issued on these facts.
Sure. Indeed, Commissioners, on these facts, there was no case. It couldn't have been. And maybe on the issue of the warrant, Commissioner Khumalo, when I first read the docket, because the statement applying for the warrant forms part of the docket, I remember having a discussion with Advocate Lachwa and asking her how did the magistrate authorize this? And I remember she told me on the first occasion when Brian Barayashi went to court to ask for a warrant, the magistrate turned him away to say a statement.
So the one that was issued was the second one?
It was the second one to try.
There was one where the magistrate refused to grant the warrant, to issue the warrant.
There's one where, there must be one where the magistrate refused to issue a warrant, because the magistrate was not convinced that there was a case. The magistrate who sits and does this, so the magistrate sent him back, and he went and compiled another one, went back, succeeded with the second one. But still, when I looked at the second one,
But why do you say it looks more like heads of argument than an affidavit?
It's because when I read it, it's like a person is trying to, it's like an argument. He's trying to justify why we want to have a warrant issued. But if
Chair said it has more conclusions than facts. That's how Chair put it.
Which I agree with, Commissioners. If you have a case, you have a case. You're not going to struggle with drafting an affidavit to apply for a warrant. And as a prosecutor, you're not going to struggle to draft a charge sheet. If you have a case, you have a case. And I always say to the juniors that come in as part of training, I say, you will see, when you struggle to draft your charge sheet, you must know that there's something wrong with your evidence. If a person stole an item at OK on the 4th of August 2026, your charge sheet reads theft on such and such a day at or near OK Central, this person stole this item, you even describe it worth so much. But if you're struggling to put it into words, what did the person steal, where, when, then it tells you you have a problem, which is what I was encountering as I was writing this email. Who corrupted who? How? There was no evidence to support all that.
After your recusal, you may not necessarily have details, but I'm interested to know whether your questions, I know there was a response, but whether the substance of the issues that you were raising, to your knowledge as we sit here now, was the substance of your questions ever answered cogently?
Chair, they were not. And maybe that is why I wrote a second, or at least in the third trial preparation note. They were not. And I was saying to the evidence leaders as we were preparing this affidavit, and I said, well, I recused myself at least a month and a half after getting it, but if I had gone on and those questions were not answered, I would have withdrawn this case. I would not have prosecuted this case on the basis of the evidence available at the time, unless if all of these questions were answered. I would not have proved a case in any event, even if I went on trial, at least with the available evidence. So I asked questions and I made a follow-up, and I think I sent a third trial note where I got the response was confirmation of Ms. Mukwele's qualifications and one or two other things, but by and large, my questions remained unanswered.
Yes. I'll make a comment that I've made repeatedly during the testimony of the IDEC witnesses. We are not asking these questions so as to pronounce on whether the generals or the officers are guilty or not. But we are asking questions that may touch on whether there was a case at all, because for us at issue is whether charging the generals at all was improper. So questions of whether there was a case to start off with may be relevant to that question, which is relevant to what we are about. Now, I thought I should just again, for those who may be asking themselves, but are they a court that's going to answer the question of guilt or not? So I thought I should just again repeat that comment. It's probably for the third time that I'm making that comment.
It goes back to wanting to understand the reporting and role of Mr. Sissoko. You have this experience now on the 27th of June, and you note all these wrong things about it. Isn't that typically something that would have had to go into the discussion? Because part of it sounds like resource allocation, right? Isn't that something that would have typically gone into the reporting to the, is it OMC or something, when you make those monthly reports and get it addressed there? Is that not?
I agree, Commissioner. It's something that ought to have been raised in that structure. I'm not sure if it was at a later stage, but from the date of the bail application when the case was postponed until up to the 8th, I don't remember. I don't think we had an OMC. But these are type of issues that are dealt with in the OMC. Resource requirements, where there's shortages, and even these challenges that how is a team dealing with such a big case and there's no deputy.
So you say you don't remember whether it was raised or that you had a meeting after that. Is that?
That is correct. Between the 27th when the case was in court and the 8th of August when I was involved in the case. But then from the moment I was involved, and the commission will see, as I'm calling meetings of this team, I'm also copying Mr. Stork. I'm involving him in the matter.
And where is Mr. Lowe in all of this by the time you get called on the 8th of August and you are now told this is your matter? Where is he?
He was never involved in the case at all, Commissioner. He was not part of this case at all. Ever? Even though the type of case resided in the group that he was overseeing, but he was never involved. He was not designated in this case.
Okay, thank you. And do you know why? Did you ever get an explanation, even informally, why you are the one that's been called on the 8th of August and he's not involved?
I did not ask why, but as I'm going through my statement, Commissioner, you'll see that I take it when I was called in, maybe it might have been the ID got, like I left the message with a PA, and she then gave a go ahead.
Okay.
Maybe because I helped on the first day. Let me. I nearly said Somar. Let me proceed with Serunye because he helped on that day. I think
you could have said Somar. We've had worse.
Yes. So I believe she involved me and not him because I went to help on the first day, and because when she called me on the 8th, she said, "I've decided to involve a DDPP in the case, and I want you to be part of it."
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.